This is Cashology by FMBO, a podcast devoted to the art and science of managing your money. It's like school, but your only homework is living your best financial life. Class is now in session. Home improvement projects. They can add real value to your home. But more than that, they can help you fall in love with your home all over again. Remodeling the kitchen or adding a bathroom are some common home improvement dreams. Things like energy efficient windows or insulation sound boring, but can add a lot of value too. The question is, how do you pay for them? That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome, and thanks for listening to the Cashology podcast, hosted by your guide on the path to financial savvy, me, Julie Wyans. Today we have Jen Ammerman, construction lender for FMBO located in Fort Collins, Colorado, as our guest to guide us through today's topic, dreaming of a home improvement project. Hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Very excited to have you, especially as a construction lender. You are all about those home improvement dreams.
Yes, very much so.
So before we dive into this topic more, we want to get a couple of disclosures out of the way.
You're darn tootin', sister. Investment products are not FDIC insured, not a deposit or other obligation of the bank, not insured by any federal government agency, not guaranteed by the bank, may lose value. This podcast should not be copied or reproduced without permission. Information and statements within this podcast are subject to change without notice. The Cashology podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to constitute investment advice or recommendations. First National Bank of Omaha does not make any representation or warranty as to the accuracy or completeness of any information or statements within this podcast. When making decisions about your financial situation, consult a financial professional for advice. Podcasts are not regularly updated and information may become outdated. Deposit products are offered by First National Bank of Omaha, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The Cashology Podcast, copyright 2021, First National Bank of Omaha. Now let's get going! Yeah!
Okay, Jen, I've been cooped up in my home for over a year now because of the pandemic. I am just dying to make some changes to the home. What is some criteria when you look at home improvement projects that would make someone say, yep, it is time? What kind of assessment do you make?
Well, that just depends. A lot of people just want to make a change. They want to increase their square footage. Maybe their family is growing. Maybe if, for example, in Colorado market, there's very low inventory. So people, instead of buying new, are just adding on to their current homes or revamping their homes to make them more livable or to feel new. It would just really depend on that. And of course, budget for a lot of people on what they can afford to do. Also, just increasing market value for your home. There's different things that you can do to smaller projects that might help with that kind of thing.
Jen, really good point. So you talked about market value. How do I assess what the return will be on my investment? And are there resources that you suggest?
Yeah, I always ask people to contact their local realtor. Most people have a friend or a family member or someone they know at the gym maybe that is a real estate agent that would be able to best assist them in what things that they could do to their house to bring the most value. Obviously, adding bedrooms is a good way to go. Revamping kitchens, bathrooms, those are typically pretty good return on investment. But again, really the best resource for that would be a real estate agent who has their finger on the pulse of the market and can see what buyers are really looking for right now.
Yeah. I mean, being a buyer in the Omaha market even is really difficult. There's definitely a shortage of inventory, like you had mentioned in Colorado. So making an investment to your current property makes a lot of sense. And it might even be, in the long run, maybe a less expensive option, even if you do feel like you need to expand, but don't want to make the big move to purchase a new place. So tell me more about this investment and some options with financing, because maybe we don't have the savings to cover it right now. What are some alternatives?
Right. So there are a few alternatives. For smaller projects, you'd probably be looking at something maybe like a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. Those are really good options for, again, your smaller projects where you're not doing kind of a major rehab. Those would require some equity in the house for you to tap into. What's nice about our larger remodel loan, if you're looking for something, again, as sort of a major rehab or a major overhaul to the house, the remodel loan is the better way to go, because for that, when we're considering what the value is, we're not only considering the equity that you currently have in your house, we're looking at the appraised value as if it were a completed project. So that will be the difference between a home equity line or a home equity loan and the remodel loan, is that the prior to any home equity product will look at only what your value is today and can loan you based on a percentage of that. The remodel loan will look at your value as if it were complete, as if the project were done. And so that will hopefully add value, increasing your equity position so that maybe you won't have to bring money to that project at all, potentially.
So what kind of preparation do I need to make in order to pursue these financing options? And who should I talk to?
So for any home equity products, you're going to want to talk to a personal banker. So for that, you can go to your local branch. Most people have already communicated or connected with a personal banker. Our folks tend to stay around, it seems like, and develop those good relationships with people. So just go into your branch, talk to anyone there, ask for a personal banker. They should be able to help you. For the remodel loans, I would be the one to help with any of the markets that we're in. Folks should contact me to discuss that. And in terms of preparation, there's going to be, the home equity products are going to be a lot less complex to get through than a construction loan, a remodel loan. The remodel loan is going to require budgets, plans, specs, builders, and then just walking through it. And we're going to do a mortgage loan essentially for your remodel. So it's a lot more involved. I recommend just having that initial conversation with me first to determine whether your product meets the criteria for a remodel loan. And then we can talk about steps in greater depth at that point to determine what's the next step. Definitely get in front of it though before you start talking to builders or any of that. We can get you pre-approved for loan amounts to make sure that you know what you even qualify for and what that all looks like.
Okay, so just so I understand it, for a remodel loan, that's a bigger loan, a larger loan for perhaps a full rehab where you're involving a construction company. You may have blueprints that need to be made. And before kind of going down the route of booking any of those, the architect or the construction crew, we should probably talk to a banker first or to you first, right?
Talk to me first. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The HELOCs less so. You're probably not going to need budget plans and specs for that because they're just going to give you a loan based on the equity in your house. So they don't need to see any of those items that I just talked about. A remodel loan would be in an amount that would be approximately half of what the current value of your home is. So let's say your home is worth $400,000 as it sits right now. We'd be wanting to see a project around a couple $100,000.
Okay.
So that's a larger project relative to what the value of your house is.
Very interesting. So for a home equity line of credit, that situation may be I'm redoing my bathroom or finishing my basement, right? And I have these plans. I may be doing it myself. I don't really know how exactly I'm going to spend the money, but I know that I want to invest those dollars into my home.
Yes.
And there's a little bit more flexibility.
Well, exactly. And good point that you brought up there too about maybe I want to do this work myself. When you're doing a major remodel, you are not able to do the work yourself. We do require that you have a general contractor for that. So if you want to do any work yourself, then you definitely would need to go the route of a home equity line or a home equity loan.
Okay. That is absolutely something I didn't know. And honestly, as someone who watches HGTV like it's going out of style, doing DIY is a desire of mine. I mean, that definitely is something I would want to do and imprint my, style on it.
Right.
Very interesting. Okay. So what other tips do you have for those who are seeking a home improvement projects and financing for it?
Gosh, I mean, just going back to that whole principle of getting in front of it first, let's find out if you even you can qualify for the loan and for what amount. That is probably the best tip I can give, because with that, then you can back into what you can really afford and do with a builder. So if we pre-qualify you for a loan amount, then you'll be able to go to your builder and say, I'm already pre-qualified for this amount. This is what I have to stay within for my budget. And you can be really confident going into that piece. The other thing I would say is we want to make sure your builder is somebody that we are comfortable with, that can do it. We do have some builder validation requirements. So the next step for me would be, if you find somebody you like to work with, let's get in front of that and let me have that conversation with the builder to make sure we can get them validated with us. That's not an extensive process, but we just want to know that your builder knows what they're doing, that they have the experience in this industry and the know-how and the wherewithal to take on the kind of project you're looking at.
Yeah, we want the project to succeed just as much as the customer does. So connecting them with the right people is very important. I could definitely see that. The other point you made about getting pre-qualified for the loan, or at least knowing how much we would be able to lend a customer, is such an important fact, because it goes back to the effort of buying a new home. I mean, you also need to understand, when you're seeking a mortgage, how much house you can afford before you buy it. Same exact thing for a remodel or a home improvement project. You really should understand what exposure you're able to get from a loan.
Right. Exactly.
Well, Jen, tell me, just for you personally, what maybe in your home improvement projects has been your favorite?
Well, I don't enjoy home improvement projects. I like to hire them out, and but my husband and I recently did actually do our own, and we just went through and painted our entire downstairs, or I guess living space, which really freshened up the rooms. We recarpeted, we restained the wood floor, and it just gave it that, like I said, just kind of refreshed it, gave it that new feeling. It was brightened up the area. It just makes you feel better, puts you in a good mood, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, after it's all said and done, when it's happening, it's kind of a pain.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, I'm all for hiring it out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm not handy with home improvement projects, but I like to think I am. So it's a bad combination.
That is my problem.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for being our guest today. I think we really learned a lot about making our home improvement projects come to life.
Yeah, absolutely. Please let your listeners know that they should just reach out to us if they have any questions. You know, the other thing is too, that if they have a loan officer that they work with, that they really love in the mortgage area, that's a great place to start too. So have them either reach out to myself or their mortgage officer, or for the home equity lines, a personal banker.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and keep an eye out for more Cashology episodes coming your way soon.